Okay, just to follow up on this hearing right now, it continues. Kristi Noem there, once the head of the Department of Homeland Security. It's a big job. It covers a lot of things that, frankly, a lot of people don't realize. But there were so many news stories today, within the past 4 weeks, let's say, that directly apply to the job that she will have if confirmed. Chad Pergram's been watching while we were on the TikTok story, and Chad's going to bring us up to speed on what we missed. Chad, hello again.
Bill, good morning. One of the most interesting things that we heard in the hearing is Kristi Noem talking about just how big the Department of Homeland Security is. As you allude to, it deals with the Secret Service. It deals with FEMA. She also says, why would some people want to take over such a big, miscombobulated agency? She was questioned about the border as to who is going to be in charge of the border. She says, ultimately, President-elect Trump is going to be in charge of the border. And she also said that, frankly, some cyber attacks, cyber is a very important part of the Department of Homeland Security, that they don't know how to combat some of these attacks. One of the other lines of questioning, this came from Richard Blumenthal. He's the Democratic senator from Connecticut. He was talking about whether or not there would be equity to California, even though some of the politics in California lean to the left when it comes to FEMA funding. Keep in mind that FEMA comes under the aegis of the Department of Homeland Security. So a big hearing here today. This is the last big hearing for some of President-elect Trump's nominees this week. We do think that there might be a confirmation vote or two on Monday night, not necessarily for Kristi Noem, but probably for Marco Rubio, the Republican senator from Florida, who's up to be Secretary of State. And as we speak right now, Bill, there's another big story emerging on Capitol Hill. There is a procedural vote happening on the Senate floor right now, a test vote on the Laken-Riley Act. As you know, this has a lot to do with Homeland Security. What it would do would require the detention, federal detention, for those in the U.S. illegally if they are picked up for minor crimes like shoplifting. And this crossed a procedural barrier a few days ago with 85 votes. And I mentioned Richard Blumenthal earlier today. He said he's not going to vote for it this time. But there are a number of Democrats who are voting for this. They need 60 votes. And right now, when I look at the list, you have Maggie Hassan, who's a Democrat from New Hampshire. You have Jackie Rosen, who's a Democrat from Nevada. Gary Peters, who's a Democrat from Michigan. They have all voted for this. There should be enough Democratic support coupled with Republicans. Now, there are only 52 Republicans in the Senate right now, so they need to get to 60, so they need at least 8 Democratic yeas if everybody votes yes. The reason that there's only 52 Republicans in the Senate is the seat occupied once by J.D. Vance, the vice president-elect. It is vacant, and we are told today that there will be an announcement at 1 o'clock Eastern time by Ohio Governor Mike DeWine to announce who he will send to Washington in J.D. Vance's stead. Bill?
A lot to tie in there. Chad, could the incoming president sign this into law next week?
Potentially, but there's going to be some changes to this bill. There were amendment votes in the Senate last night that altered what the House had passed originally about a week and a half ago. So they would have to ping-pong this back to the House of Representatives because it's a changed bill now. But this very well could be the first bill that President-elect Trump signs into law if they cross this procedural vote today and the House accepts the changes made in the Senate.
Got it. Busy day there, Chad. Thanks much to you. Check back in shortly. Dana.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.